Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. My sister is a Karen. I'm Jennifer, and this is my sister Karen.
Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back. These are the conversations that Jennifer and I have every day. That's just when you hear someone go, I have to go call my sister right now. And we decided to just share them with you. I first want to acknowledge for anyone who's watching on YouTube or clips, my makeup is a miss today. I was trying to do this really cool. I did it. I've done it the past like 2 years, multiple times in June. I've done this really cool like tie-dye rainbow look on my eye, and it just was a mess. Jen was like,
Yeah,
"Do you want to take him?" I'm like, "No, it's fine. I'm just going to acknowledge it's
I was like, ways that we are not the same. I'm like, do you need to blend that out maybe a little? And you're like, no, no, I'm going with it. This is what happened.
yeah. This is what it is."
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, you told me the other day too that you had like perfected this like rainbow makeup that you used during Pride Month. This is not perfection.
No, this is so far from the perfection because I was like, well, maybe if I tried to like switch it up a little bit, and I was like,
Mm.
maybe if I do it a different way, and this did not work. But I just I was too late. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna. I mean, I have to start completely over.
I know. It's a lot because you have to, like, wash the whole thing down and start with skincare again. It's a lot.
Yeah,
And your canvas, your skin isn't the same after you've applied, removed, and started applying again immediately. The It's just not the same.
yeah. It's always yeah. So I
Yeah,
was
I get
just
it.
like, whatever, it's
Okay,
fine.
well, I love this for you.
Fun thing, I sometimes do this, like when I'm at work. People will be like, "Oh, your makeup is," and I'm like, "Yeah, this was this was an experiment that did not work." Yeah. I had a patient one time that was like, "Maybe you shouldn't do red eye makeup because it kinda makes you look like a demon." Noted, ma'am.
Thank
So
you
I
for
have
your
no
feedback.
shame. Yeah. Um, yeah, sometimes my makeup is awesome and perfect, other times not so much.
Feel like this is like the embodiment of those memes that you see that are like, having a sister is like if you've never had one, you can't understand it because it's like, I love you. Your makeup looks like shit. Your butt is sagging. You have no food in this house.
Also, I'm gonna steal your crystal candlesticks that I like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. This
Oh
is
my
what people
god.
don't get, but this is what we mean when we're like, we're totally unfiltered, like, my friends would be like, "No, it's okay, it's fine."
It's not okay.
You were like
I about it.
I mean, I was like, "First thing, this is not what I was going for, I promised you this really cute look. Did not happen today."
Oh my god, that's so funny.
So,
Yeah, maybe you can try again another time or
yes,
not. Maybe you should just stick with what you do all the time.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to the original way and not try and make it fancier. I
Okay.
got a little too big for my britches.
Yeah, I see that. Oh my god. Okay, so while we're talking about sister things, let me tell you about something that happened.
Okay.
This actually happened a few weeks ago, and I was going to tell you about it and then I just like forgot. Okay, so I'm not going to say any names, but as you know, used to have a coworker that lived near where I live, and she no longer works with me. The coworker and I, it wasn't like a love affair when we worked together, but it also was, like, in my opinion, civil most of the time. And I've had people since this coworker left, I've had people say to me like, "I thought you were really close with that person." And I'm like, "No, no, I wasn't." But she apparently portrayed that in other circles. I don't know why, but she did. So, long story short, so she does a Botox party at her house every quarter. That's where I've been getting my Botox for 3 years since I moved to Phoenix. So I didn't get invited. Uh huh. To the
Ooh,
most recent Botox party. And I was a little bit surprised, to be honest, because by appearances externally, she made it look like we got along. And that was important to her that it
yeah.
looked like we got along. And I didn't get invited. So I was like, okay, I'm not terribly shocked, but also I am a little bit because appearances matter to her. But also, like, we don't work together anymore. So what does it matter? And it was no big deal. Like, I had already arranged an alternate
Yeah.
option with the person that did the Botox there. But here's where it gets juicy. The person who has the Botox party called the Botox administrator, who I've referred to before. Her name is Rachel. She
Yeah.
called the Botox administrator and she was like, "Is Jennifer getting Botox with you outside of my parties? Like, is she going to you individually?" And Rachel was like, "Well, there's a HIPAA situation, so I really can't comment on that." And the reason that my ex coworker asked this question is because she wanted credit for my attendance to a Botox
God.
party that she did not extend an invitation to.
My God. That is so scandalous.
I'm just like, I feel like I don't even need to say anything else again about how I think she's not a great person
Yep.
because that story tells the story.
Yeah.
All she had to do was invite me, I would have declined. And then if she had said like, "Hey, I want credit for her," I'd have been like, "I mean, fair is fair. She did invite me and I declined."
Right.
Like, that's up to you now as the Botox person, as the administrator, like, that's up to you. But like, I don't, but I was like, when she said she wants to know because she wants credit, she doesn't have enough people to get her Botox for free if you don't attend. And I was like, "Oh, absolutely not." I was like, she didn't even extend a useless like she didn't even extend an invitation that was not heartfelt.
Right.
An
Like even a
invitation when you
like
don't actually want somebody to show
yeah.
up.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
That is fantastic.
Mhm. So that
So
happened.
after that reminds me, after we talked about the reality shows and stuff, I somehow figured out that they are actually still making daytime soap operas. General Hospital and Days of Our Lives are still going. It's better than
We're
reality
gone.
because they will do physical violence. They will slap each other. No,
Those soap operas were all gone.
I thought they were too. General Hospital and Days of Our Lives are the only ones left.
Are they on like every day the way they used to be, like at 2 o'clock in the
Yes.
afternoon?
Yeah.
Get out of town.
I know General Hospital is on Hulu through ABC. Yeah. And still like now I'm like, now I know how mom felt when I was like, Luke and Laura are old and ugly, mom. Because now like the people that I thought were hot 20 years ago that are still on, and I'm like, Sonny does look like a grandpa.
Yeah, that's not it.
But it's so much better because it's like all the cattiness and whatever, but then I don't like no one's actual life is, but and again, they slap each other still. It's like,
So funny. I really thought I had heard that they got rid of all the soap operas, that there weren't any left anymore on daytime TV.
I swear that they did. So I'm not even sure if they air because I know for a while, like all my children went like after it got canceled on TV, then they did like a very brief thing where they were like on a web thing or whatever. How I found it is because General Hospital is one of the top 10 shows consistently on Hulu because they put an episode
My
out
God.
Monday through Friday.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, I was like, I feel like I'm returning to my roots or something. And it also is great because just because then there's like the two. I haven't gotten as into Days of Our Lives because it's a little someone once described it to me. They're like General Hospital is like Marvel comics and then Days of Our Lives is like DC. Like Days has like weird like possession storylines and stuff.
Oh, I mean, that was 20 years ago, the possession thing. Do they still have that happening?
Well, Marlena's still on there. Yeah.
Yeah, but she was like exercised. Like she's not,
Yes. But then the devil did come back and repossess her again.
she's
And
like our mom's age.
yeah. And I mean, honestly, part of me is like, okay, but these people are like the workhorses of the entertainment industry. Like,
Seriously.
I know.
Like 45 years, she's been on this soap opera every day, Monday through Friday, except when she had babies and she would take a short, like,
Yeah. Laura from Luke and Laura is still on General Hospital. She's the mayor of the town now. Luke's not there anymore. She's the mayor.
wait, what is the name of the town?
Port Charles.
Thank you.
Days of Our Lives is in Salem. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's like, and I love it because it's not one episode a week. It's like sometimes I'm like, I'm not gonna watch General Hospital so that this weekend I can just spend 4 hours watching it all straight.
Oh my God.
It's so good.
When I was in college, you would like I was in the first time I went to college, I was in a sorority. If you went to the sorority house during that time of day, there were like 4 or 5 or 10, I don't know how many TVs there were in the sorority house, but they were all tuned in to Days of Our Lives and General Hospital. It was
Yeah.
like I don't think they were on at the same time. I think they were like one
No.
after another. Yeah, okay. Literally, like, and there were girls in the sorority that were like, I mean, I go hang out at the sorority house from like 1 to 3 every day because I don't have a TV in my dorm, so I watch General
I
Hospital
know.
and one day at or what is it?
General Hospital and Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives. I almost said one day at a time. I was like, that's not it.
No. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
totally,
it was
like
it was all the girls were in there watching it. All the girls. They were like on the floor, on all the furniture, like at least 20 girls at a time in there watching it. And some days it'd be like 50 girls in there watching it because there were like 120 girls in the sorority anyway. It would literally be like days that there were half of the girls were in there watching.
and thank goodness we have all this technology now because, I mean, it used to be like when you were in college the first time and stuff, like, I mean, if there was a news interruption, you were just fucked. You had no
Yeah, that's
idea
true.
what happened on that episode. You could never get it back.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Well, you could buy like that soap opera digest that was at
Yes.
the cash register. You could buy that and you could read that, but I don't know how like I don't know how far behind that was or like I don't
Just
know.
like a week or two. It's not,
Okay.
um
I mean, there were girls that were like arranging their schedule around some of the soap operas. And I can remember like there were girls in the sorority that would be like, "Well, I had to give up days because I just like I can't keep arranging around two soap operas, so I stuck with GH, but I had to give up days and that way I can get all my classes in."
yes. It was way harder back then too because it wasn't just Days in GH. There was All My Children, there was One Life to
Yeah,
Live.
there were a
I
lot
mean,
more.
yes, there was
But
so
everybody seemed to watch Days and Days of Our Lives and General Hospital. Those seemed to be the 2 that were
yes.
I mean, I know All My Children at one time was, like, the longest running soap opera of, like, all time in TV, but I don't
So that
I
was
don't
One
really
Life.
remember anybody our age watching that. I don't know who was watching it, but it wasn't our peers, at least not where we lived, maybe in other parts of the country.
No, and the other one people watched was Young and the Restless, and we never got into that was like
Those were our mom's soap operas, All My Children and Young and the Restless. I think those were for our mom's
yeah.
cohort, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I've been doing. It's like I said, even better than reality. When the one girl slapped the other one, I was like, they can't do this on real TV. They'll file assault charges.
Oh god, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of take girls taking girls out, can we talk about what happened at the Indiana Fever game a couple of nights ago? And the world has gone crazy over this. I don't think that we're like breaking news about anything. You've all if you haven't seen it, then it's you're just not like TikTok didn't think it would appeal to you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But let's talk about okay, first of all, let's just go ahead and like all hail to Caitlin Clark. Let's take our
Yes.
moment of yeah, I think she's a phenomenon. I think she seems like a very cool girl.
She really does. Like, she seems very grounded,
Mhm.
very approachable. I mean, for as
Unapologetic about being the best. I don't like she doesn't try to pretend like I'm not as great as you guys think. Like she doesn't do that, but she still is extremely poised. Like I don't
well, and
it's
she's
crazy.
so I mean, I always think, like, someone like her, she's so much better than everyone else. How did she come out being normal? Because she's been told her whole life, and she sees the evidence that she is, in fact, better than everyone else, you know?
They talked about when she was young, like little, she was playing basketball on boys' leagues. She has brothers. I don't know if they're younger or older, whatever. She has brothers. She grew up in Iowa. So, I mean, I think some of it is just like that whole Midwestern, like there's some of that. There's something to be said for some of that. Like there's a different upbringing in the Midwest. And I think she benefited from that. But I've heard them talk about when she was little and she played like pee wee basketball or whatever, she had to play with the boys because there wasn't a girls' league. And then she was so good that they were like, "We don't want you to play with the boys anymore. You got to go find some girls to play with." Like that's how good she was at a very young age.
Yeah, I think also growing up like in the Midwest and especially I'm not ragging on Iowa, but there's not that many big cities in Iowa. So if you're in a
No.
smaller place, it is different because like the entire town takes pride in you.
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah, I do. I mean, I agree with you. In Missouri we have St. Louis, which is a much bigger city than Kansas City. But I mean, we have St. Louis and Kansas City. And Iowa, I mean, Des Moines is not even as big. I don't think Des Moines is even as big as Kansas City. Well, I know it's not.
yeah, I think it's closer to like Springfield, Missouri or like Wichita.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Des Moines is the biggest city in Iowa. And I mean, we knew lots of people growing up in Kansas City. There were a lot of people that had family members that lived in Iowa. I mean,
Yeah.
the Holmans across the street had their cousins that lived up there. But I mean, there were other people too. At one point it was kind of a big deal when everybody was like, Caitlin Clark is a Chiefs fan. And I was like, well, if you grew up in Kansas City, you know that people in Des Moines are generally Chiefs fans and most of Iowa is a Chiefs fan. So that wasn't surprising to us. But I think I have admired her since I first figured out who she was, and I believe that was her second year playing college basketball. While I am a huge sports fan, basketball is not my sport, or it hasn't been in the past. But I've started to get into it for a couple of years, more than a couple of years. My son is a huge NBA fan, and so I've gotten into some of the NBA stuff. We've been to a game once. We went and saw LeBron play with the Lakers against the Phoenix Suns. So I've gotten into basketball a little bit. I watch a fair amount of it because my son like subscribes to like whatever the ESPN NBA network is. He subscribes to that. And so he'll come home from
No,
work
Megan
sometimes
pays
and be
for
like,
that, and she won't get rid of it because Sam uses it.
"What?"
It's Megan's ESPN Plus that's packaged in with her stuff, and I was
Yes,
like,
but it's an additional package for the
"Oh,
NBA
okay,"
stuff.
because I was
Yeah.
she said something she's like, "Well, I can't get rid of the ESPN Plus because Sam uses it," and I'm like,
He does use it, but he pays. So Megan has like whatever the ESPN thing is, and we
"Yeah,
use that occasionally. But you can only get a handful of NBA games on there. And Sam likes the really big market games, like the Lakers that LeBron James plays for, the Warriors. He likes some of the big market games or teams, so he pays for an additional package. But
good for
we
Meg."
do watch some basketball. We've been digging Caitlin Clark since we figured out who she was. I'm super excited about it. I love that female sports is having a moment. It's been long overdue. I cannot preach about that enough. But I do think like you've got a league that's been struggling for all these years, the WNBA. They've been trying so hard to make their mark and to get viewership and season tickets sold and the audience. And I mean the talent is there. The talent has been there for a long time. But there hasn't whatever it took to get people tuned in wasn't happening. And then along comes Caitlin Clark and tickets ticket sales like quadruple when Caitlin is playing in the game.
Yeah,
Even if it's not in her, even if it's not in Indiana, tickets like quadruple. Viewership is like insane through the roof when Caitlin is playing. And she's brought fans to the game who are watching other teams as well, myself included.
for sure, yeah."
But she's taking a beating on the court, like a really bad beating, and it's very targeted. And so in swoops, Sophie Cunningham, who looks like she weighs 105 pounds at like 6'1" or whatever she is. She's super thin and clearly a badass, by the way, from Missouri, from our backyard. Yeah. Obviously I loved what Sophie Cunningham did. I super did. For one thing, I love sports. I really do. I watch a lot of sports. There's almost no sport that I will not watch. Low might be the exception, although I have watched it. It's not, I don't really. But one of the things I super love is like a good on field or courtside fight. Like, I'm sorry. I, and basketball has good fights. Like,
Yeah.
basketball has really good fights.
Did you see this isn't female sports. There was a oh my god, I can't remember who the Washington Capitals were playing, but there was, like, an old school all-out hockey brawl at a game, like, a month or because they just finished the Stanley Cup, but, like, a couple
Oh,
months
I did see this. Yeah.
I was, like, sending Megan clips, and I'm like, "The ref just threw a punch there."
Is I personally think a bench clearing baseball fight is I think that's the best fight because they don't have any gear, right? So like football, hockey, like there's protective gear. You can't really like
Yeah.
it's hard to actually like do damage. Not that I'm wanting these guys to do damage to each other or women, whatever it is. Not that I'm wanting them to do damage, but I'm sorry. A good team fight is going to get me clued in. Like that is definitely going to get me. And I think while I think there's nothing better than a benches clearing baseball fracas because I grew up loving that. But I do think the NBA and the WNBA can do some really good courtside fights too, which also clear the benches. And they're dirty. Like I don't know what it is about the NBA, but they're like even in the male league, they're like hair pulling. Like they're scrappy.
Girls are vicious. When
The girls
I
are vicious. Sophie Cunningham basically like wrapped her arms around that girl on the court, dragged her down. If you haven't seen it and you don't know it, Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye. Then she got while she was covering her eye, the play had stopped. She was covering her eye. The same girl that poked her, like pushed her. And then Caitlin is still like this, can't really see, and a girl who is probably that team's largest girl on the field or on the court body checked her, shoulder checked her.
yeah.
I wouldn't quite call it a body slam, but it was not a push. It was a body check. And this girl probably outweighs Caitlin by about 30 pounds. And Caitlin went all the way down onto the ground. And there was nobody was ejected. There was a technical foul called, which is not enough for behavior like that. Now, I will say, as all these TikToks have been coming up, and again, like I'm pretty new to the WNBA. I've been watching peripherally since Caitlin Clark joined. I've tried to watch in the past. I didn't have anybody who I like had an affiliation to, and so I just never like got into it the way I wanted to. Apparently this level of dirty play is pretty common. It's a pretty scrappy league, and it's kind of known for being chippy, spicy, whatever. A lot of pushing, a lot of pulling, a lot of a lot of contact, and they've been doing it for all these years apparently, and it's kind of been known, and they just like didn't do anything about it because maybe that was what was drawing the minimal crowd that they had. But now you've got this woman who is like literally the face of professional basketball. I think she's the face of all pro basketball. Sorry, not sorry, men in the NBA. But LeBron is old and Steph Curry is old. I love those guys. Like I super love them. I
But
would,
there's not someone that's it's not like
but they are not it.
right, and it's not like when Michael Jordan was phasing out and going into base
Right.
whatever, and then, like, all of a sudden, then there's Steph Curry and LeBron, like, I mean, we don't have someone else that's coming up to
It's
replace.
Caitlin.
Yeah, it is.
And she's the whole package. She's so poised. Like I do watch, I'll watch games occasionally. I definitely watch a lot of the clips and stuff on TikTok and on my news feed. And she's incredibly good at getting knocked down and not stooping to the level.
Yeah.
She's really really good at that. And I don't know what that is because I'm a petty queen. And if you knock me down, I'm fucking coming back for you. Like 100%, I'm coming back for you. Sophie Cunningham, one of the things that's so incredible because she waits. So Caitlin gets knocked down. They call it a technical foul, which is bullshit, but they did that. That's in the second quarter of the game. In the fourth quarter, with 40 seconds left to go, and they're like 14 points up, the Fever are. Sophie Cunningham comes in like a sleeper. She's been waiting for all that time, and she wraps the girl's doing a layup. It's the girl that poked her eye. She's doing a layup, and Sophie Cunningham just flagrantly wraps her arms around the girl and brings her down to the ground. And then there's a fight, and it gets into the seats, and the whole team is over there. And Sophie Cunningham, at one point, it looked like she had her hands in two girls' hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, good for her for having the patience to wait for that moment because that wouldn't have been me. What I would have done is I'd have gone right out there the minute while Caitlin was still on the ground. I'd have been out there and I'd probably tackled somebody from the knees because I'm so tiny compared to them, but I wouldn't have let it, I wouldn't have had the patience to sit back and be like, my moment's going to come. Karma's going to give me my moment and it will come and I will teach this team a lesson. I don't like
I
that's
think
a lot of patience.
I think female athletes are more competitive than male athletes. And I as in general, obviously not all,
Yeah,
but like
yeah, there are exceptions.
when you watch like boys soccer versus girls soccer, girls are way rougher. And girl soccer players make fun of boy soccer players because they're like, fucking pussies. They're like, God, they got a bloody nose, so they have to leave the game.
I know. And yeah, I agree with you. I think it has to do with the fact that there's less audience and there's less money and the women are literally fighting for their lives. Like every minute that they get to be on the field or the court or whatever, they are fighting for their lives for that because there are 70 other women that are lined up that might be just as good. I mean, not everybody's a Caitlin Clark and has no equal, right? So there's a bunch of other women that are lined up. Women also have to deal with like if they want to have a baby, that their prime years for having a baby are during their prime years to play their sport. Men don't have to do that. Like men don't have to make that choice. Steph Curry has like 4 children. It
Yeah.
never disrupted his career. Never once. So women are literally fighting for their lives out on these fields. And I agree with you. I think there is more of a dog eat dog like mentality in
Yeah.
general among all of the female sports. I think there's more of a dog eat dog mentality and like they're not going to waste their opportunity. And I think they're also just they're not going to take the shit that the men take cuz they don't even have the training facilities and stuff that the men have.
They're Sydney LaRue, who played for the US team and was married to Dom Dwyer. They were like Kansas City soccer royalty. She both of her pregnancies, she played, and one of my the thing, because I always was kinda like, "Yeah, I like her, but I don't, like, love her." The thing that made me love her is she's like, "So, this is my last practice," and she's, like, I don't know, probably 6 months pregnant, way more pregnant than normal and she's like, "Because every time I, kicked the ball, I think I peed a little bit." She's like, "So that's how I know it's time to go on maternity leave."
Time to throw in the towel.
Yeah, but, like, she was out there and not on light duty of any kind.
No. Playing at a very elite level, a very top level. Yeah,
Yes. And then as soon as she has the baby, she is,
I got
going
it.
right back in to put her body back in shape and whatever. I always thought it was so incredible. I mean, because I guess I never thought about it until her, and then I was like, well, yeah, I mean, why would you stop if you're a female athlete and you're 3, 4 months pregnant? You're not gonna stop your job, just, you know.
Well, and one of the things when the US women's national team was going through that whole equality lawsuit situation, one of the things that they griped about was they didn't have maternity leave. So if you got pregnant, if you did choose to have a baby, you like didn't get paid while you weren't playing.
Oh,
So they didn't, I mean, again, like the ways that it's not equal are really actually, I mean, yes, in a lot of the female sports, they do not draw the crowd that the men draw. That is true in a lot of the sports. In this country, the female soccer stars do, but not, again, like WNBA, female
right.
rugby, like all of that. But they also they make it really hard to play there. It's just they don't get the salaries that the men get. They don't have the training facilities. I was reading a thing recently.
She she essentially followed Dom. She played
Yeah,
for the Kansas City women's team before it was the Current, and then when he got traded to Orlando, then she went and played for Orlando City, like, um, I mean, which to me, I was always like, good that they're
mhm.
able to stay together and do that, but I was like, but why does she have to follow him? Like, she's a
because
star.
he was probably the breadwinner.
Yeah, of course he was.
Yeah.
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 I mean, both of them were
Yeah, it's
very talented and very good, but yeah, he made like 3 times what she did.
sure. Yeah, it's really disappointing the disparity in the pay and stuff like that because I mean I again going back to the audience, I get that. I really do. And I work really hard to watch as many female sports games as I can, even if it's teams I don't care about or a sport I don't care about. I really try hard to get on that bandwagon and to be supportive more than just like liking TikToks. Like I try to, you know, participate in a more meaningful way. It's hard, like they don't. It's hard to find them to watch on TV. They're not. They don't get the airtime. And then you also have to wonder, is the reason that they don't have an audience, okay, like looking at the WNBA, which is what we started looking, talking about, like looking at the WNBA, well, the NBA had like what, like 80 years of history or 50 years of history before they even brought the WNBA to town. And then they started with like 6 teams or something in the league. Like they didn't even really kind of really give them a real chance in the beginning. And so, like, some of the disparity has to do with just that it didn't exist. Like some of the lack of audience is just like there's no history, people don't know. Like, like we watch the teams, the Royals and the Chiefs, the teams that we grew up with. Well, now we watch the KC Current and KC Sporting as well. And I'm always a super fan to anything in Kansas City. I put a lot of attention into KC Current though. Like I put a lot of time into like shopping on their website, buying t-shirts, stickers, whatever, because I want to show the love to the female,
Yeah.
sports, but like it takes more than that. It takes the sponsorship like Nike and everybody like that has to be putting Gatorade. They have to be putting their dollars into that the same way that they put their dollars into LeBron James and Patrick Mahomes. It can't just be the male athletes that are getting like $40 million contracts from whomever. It's got to be the females too, and it's hard to find that. I mean, they just don't get that as much. And then when you look at like the women, the female athletes who have gotten some of that, take Caitlin Clark out of the situation. But outside of Caitlin Clark, it's often been like Serena Williams or like Simone Biles. They don't, I mean, yeah, Simone Biles has a team of gymnasts, but really Simone is an individual
Right.
gymnast. She's an individual athlete. And so it still doesn't like it draws attention to it to the stage, but it still doesn't draw attention to the team sports that probably need it more.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
1000%. I'm really we've talked about this, so and both of us are so, so proud that the Current had the first stadium that was built for a professional women's sports team in the United States. That's so crazy to me that
Crazy. That stadium opened in 2024.
okay, and you know what happened, by the way? They sell out every game. They sell out every game.
I know.
That was where they set the record for professional women's rugby. They used that stadium and they set an attendance record there. Yeah, but like the Current, I mean, so when you look at it, like, yes, Kansas City is a smaller market. And
It is a smaller market.
so if we can sell it out every game
Yeah,
consistently for 2 seasons now, I mean, like before the stadium was even open, there was a wait list for season ticket holders and stuff.
there was.
Yeah. So you look at and you're like, okay, why is no one else? Is not every team now being like, you know what, we're going to build our women a stadium as
Yeah.
well.
It's been a very successful endeavor for the Current.
Yes.
I mean, I hope they're making money on it already or like where they projected they would be. I hope that's happening, but I agree with you. Why aren't more teams, and maybe they are and we just don't know it, but why aren't more teams looking at that? Because they built that stadium, they bragged, and I brag all the time to people. I'm like, "Oh, I'm from Kansas City. That's why I love the Chiefs and the Royals." And then I'll be like, "And also my new or not new, but I'll be like, my other crowning glory in Kansas City is KC Current, the female soccer team, has its own stadium. It is the first stadium ever built solely for a female team of any kind."
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, and I think it's also important. We didn't have to build like they were playing at sporting
Yes,
stadium. Like,
which is
they
what most of the soccer league is doing. The
Right,
women's soccer league is playing at the men's stadium.
right. Um, so which also so then why does it have to be in the men's but I think that that is important because it's not like we had to build the stadium to get that team. We had the team and we chose to give them their stadium as they deserve.
Yeah, I
Because I'm
agree.
gonna be honest, I don't think Sporting is selling out every single game.
I don't think they have for a long time. They did in the beginning. It was very
They did,
exciting. They were
yes.
really, really good in the beginning. Our brother and our sister had tickets,
Tom
season
Dwyer.
tickets. It was a really big deal. And then they just sort of like went downhill for a while. And I don't think they've been selling things out either, which is a bummer. But
Yeah.
the women are making up for it in Kansas City. And the women are exciting. They're again like they're playing so well. It's a really exciting team. I think if anybody listening, if you haven't tuned in, you should just check it out. Like go check out Casey Current. The team is really, really cool. There's a cool vibe on the team. You know, they call it Teal Town, Casey Baby. But it's really fun. It's a really fun vibe and they're a really successful team. The stadium is one of the coolest things to have happened, in my opinion, in all of Kansas City. That's one of the coolest things
Yes.
ever. It's disappointing that it only just happened in 2024, but I appreciate that Kansas City was at the forefront of that. And I do have to say, like, and I think we've talked about it before on the podcast, but you know, Patrick Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes are part owners of Casey Current. And the story is, whether it's urban legend or true, I don't know, but the story is that Brittany Mahomes, who did play professional soccer overseas before she was married to him, she's the one that pushed for the stadium, is the story. I don't know if that's true or if they just credit her with that to like I don't know, but the story is that that was Brittany that pushed to build that stadium, and full respect to that. Like, good job, Brittany, for being at the forefront of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She apparently was a very good soccer player. Like, she played soccer she had a scholarship and played soccer
Uh-huh.
in college, and when their first daughter was born, there was, like, all this stuff like, "Oh my god, Texas Tech already, like, gave her a letter of intent," or whatever. It had nothing to do with Patrick. It was for Sterling to play female soccer. It was all because of Brittany that that happened.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you know, I used to go to Lubbock for work. They do love Patrick Mahomes in Lubbock, Texas. Let me just say, they do love him. And it was kind of fun. Like, occasionally I'd be meeting with a customer and, you know, I'd be like, oh, I'm from Kansas City. And they're like, oh, our boy Patrick went there. And I'm like, it's so funny because he literally grew up so far away from here. He
Yeah.
just went to college there. But like the place where he grew up is like way on it's like so far east of there.
Yeah.
But they love him. They love him. And I mean, you know, that's where he became the football player he is. So good for them. But yeah, I think going back to like Casey Current and stuff, I think it's an exciting time in Kansas City for sports in general, obviously, because we haven't, you know, the Chiefs are good, the Royals
Yeah.
are good. Casey Current is like, you know, breaking boundaries. That's really cool too. I just wish that it was I wish that the female sports were given a little bit more platform to make themselves more mainstream. I
Did
think,
you know that Kansas City is in the running for a possible WNBA expansion team?
well, I had heard that Travis Kelsey was like pushing about that, but I didn't know if that was like a real thing or if Travis Kelsey was just like
I
saying
think that,
shit.
like, when I kind of okay, anytime I say I've researched something, that means I Googled and YouTubed
I
and
know what research means.
yeah. So I researched it a little bit and it's like very early stages and yeah, it like they're gonna do
Are
an
they expanding? I mean, are they really expanding?
yes, I think they're gonna do an
Okay.
expansion. I wanna say 4 or 6 teams. Yeah, but it's very, very early stages. So, like, yes, Kansas City's in the running, but that doesn't mean I mean, like, right now, they are talking, like, 4 or 6 teams, and there's, like, 25 cities in the running, so
Yeah. The problem is like Kansas City has a lot of pro sports right now, and it's not a big market. I mean, it's just not. And so you wonder like at what point do you tap out the market? I would love to see a WNBA team in Kansas City. Like I would freaking love that. Like don't get me wrong, and I would be so like I would be such a big fan, but I just like I do worry. I mean, like I live in Phoenix, and Phoenix has a lot of pro sports, including a
Yeah.
WNBA team, but they can, like, there's like 5 million people that live here. So, like logically, there could be people that never go to any sport except whatever one is their favorite, you know? Kansas City, you'd have to have a lot of overlap. You'd have to have a lot of people that have season tickets to multiple sports in
Yeah.
order to really like make it profitable. So that's the hard part, but I love it. I mean, Kansas City does love a good sports team or a bad sports team, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember
we
when we
spent lots
used
of
to go
years
watch the
supporting
Blades? The hockey
what?
team? Remember when we would go watch the Blades, the hockey team?
Yep, we sure did.
Um, yeah, I even had my favorite, hockey player on the Blades.
Oh, that's so funny. I mean, we've had lots of soccer over the years. A lot of soccer teams have come and gone from Kansas City, indoor and outdoor.
Yeah. Yeah, when we were
The
little,
Chiefs
the
and the Royals
Comets
have
were a
been
huge
stable. I
thing.
mean, what?
When we were little, the Comets.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I'd love to see a WNBA team there. I think it'd be exciting. I mean, hopefully Kansas City would embrace it. I can't imagine that they wouldn't. And I mean, if you put a WNBA team in Kansas City, they're probably going to play the Fever on a decent amount of time. And Caitlin Clark is, I mean, she's practically almost like a hometown hero in Kansas City because
Yeah.
she grew up right down the road. So yeah, I mean, I think that would be really cool.
I think it would be cool, and we do have basketball fans here because they do the March Madness crap here, I think every year, I don't know. But consistently, there's, like, college basketball stuff. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, I'm hoping that that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I would be really interested. I didn't even know really that the WNBA was actually expanding. I just had seen where like Travis Kelsey was like, "Oh, I'd love to get a WNBA team in Kansas City," and I was
Like,
like, I don't know what he's like talking because
I
sometimes he
think
just
the
says
plan
shit.
is, like, expansion for, like, 2028, I think was I
I
mean,
mean,
like
that's not that far away. Actually, when you
right.
think about it, that's really not that
Well,
far
and
away.
yeah, like, if you wanna launch 4 new teams or what by 2028, yeah, you've gotta get the infrastructure and stuff set up for them.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
I
think they
love
need to
that
get
Travis is
some.
supporting that.
Yeah, maybe he has enough money to be a partial owner in it now. I don't know. I mean, he has a lot more like endorsements than he did, like back when Patrick and Brittany were like, Patrick is a part owner of the Royals as well. I mean, his bankroll is completely different than somebody like Travis Kelsey's. But
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey has a lot more endorsements and stuff now, and he's done some other things, outside of sports, like he's doing
Oh
that
my
game
god,
show that you watch.
that show, Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? He's amazing on it, and it's
Really?
hilarious. I love watching Mom and I watched every single episode. We were sad that the season was over. My favorite part about it is, well, I don't know. Travis does this little dance where he's like, "It could be true, it could be false." And he's like I mean, he's so charming,
Yeah.
charismatic, but then also every time dad walks through, mom's like, "Karen's really good at this. Do you know that?"
Well, our dad is a big Travis Kelsey fan. Our dad was like an OG Travis Kelsey fan. Like we bought our dad a Travis Kelsey jersey for Father's Day or his birthday or something. Back, I think that was before the first Super Bowl that we went to.
It
Like that
was.
was a long
It
time
was
ago. He was
it was so long ago that I remember when we bought it, I was like, "Can we please make sure dad never finds out that Travis did a dating show?"
oh yeah. Yeah.
But and when they're not doing well, when mom will be like, "Well, Dirk, you don't have your jersey on." She,
Well,
tells
yeah.
him to go put it
Cuz
up.
that's how, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we bought that. Like at that time, Travis was only famous for being a football player. He didn't even have the podcast. He
Yes.
like people in Kansas City knew him and we were all big fans and we knew he was the best tight end in the NFL, but he hadn't even solidified that yet. He was on his way to becoming the best. That was at least 6 or 7 years ago that we bought dad
Yeah.
that jersey. That's been
Yeah,
a
dad
long time
called that
ago.
early.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have a nobody at my house has a Travis Kelsey jersey. I mean, we have some jerseys, some football jerseys. Obviously there's a Mahomes jersey or two around this house. But I quit buying some of the jerseys for football and baseball. I mean, I also have an OG Eric Hosmer jersey, which I But I quit buying those jerseys because I started buying the female stuff. So like today I have this is my Alex Morgan jersey from the National Soccer Women, the USWNT, ST, whatever.
Yeah, I'm wearing my
I
Casey.
saw your Casey Current. Yeah.
It's
I
one of
was
my
gonna wear my
favorites.
Casey Current t-shirt, but I was like, I'm gonna wear my Alex Morgan
Yeah.
jersey. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even have a Caitlin Clark jersey, and I can't tell you how many times I've put it in my cart. I even had one for like when she was in college. I had one for Iowa, and I just never bought it. And now I'm a little bit like, I don't know, maybe I'd rather buy Sophie Cunningham jersey. But also, so Sophie Cunningham's jersey sold out though, by the way, after she pulled that. Yeah, she pulled that number and her jersey sold out that night. Like she woke up and her jersey was gone. Um,
I think, I mean, maybe they're faking it, but it also looks like they are sincerely friends and like each other.
honestly, again, going back to like what a cool person Caitlin Clark seems to be, she really honestly seems to get along with a lot of people. Like there's a lot of people on the team who she looks like she's pretty tight with or like has a vibe with or something. She's been going the Indiana Pacers in, the male NBA team is in the championships right now and she's gone to a bunch of the Pacers games with like I think Aaliyah Boston went with her. I'm not even sure, but there's like three or four of them walking in together to the Indiana Pacer games, and Caitlin's there a lot of the time. She seems to have an ability to get along with a lot of people. Like I don't know, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't, and I just like I try to. It's not that I don't know much about her, but I try to assume that I don't like just what I know is what people have chosen to put out about her.
Right.
But yeah, she looks like she's a cool girl to hang out with and like she gets along with lots. I mean, she hung out with Taylor Swift at a couple of football games.
Yeah.
She's a Swiftie. I joke, I say like she's number 22 because she's feeling 22, but I don't know if that's really why she wears 22.
We can say that. I'm good with that.
But going back to the jersey thing, so the reason I don't have a Caitlin Clark or even a Sophie Cunningham jersey in my cart right now is because there is a WNBA team here in Phoenix. And I'm like, I should probably just go to a couple of Phoenix games, a couple of the Mercury games, and pick a favorite player from there. Like, because I'll never not root for the Chiefs. I'll never not root for the Royals. I'll go to a Diamondbacks game and I'll go to a random Diamondbacks game when it's not the Royals, but I will go in my Royals gear. Like that's how I roll. And same with like football. Like I would go to a Cardinals game here in Arizona, but I'm gonna go in my Chiefs gear. Like that's what I'm gonna do. But I don't have a WNBA team. So I could adopt the team in the place where I live, which I've never done. All the places I've lived in all my life, I've never adopted somebody else's team because it's not what I do. But I was like, I could adopt the Phoenix Mercury. So I don't know. I'm going to go to a couple of the games and see what's up and see who I like. Sophie Cunningham, by the way, did used to play here, but she doesn't anymore. So
Yeah. And I like that Sophie is kind of glamorous. I mean,
she's very pretty. I really want, when I was first talking about it in the beginning, I really wanted to be like cutie patootie, model esque, like tall drink of water. But I was like, I don't want to talk about the way she looks because I really want to talk about like her fierceness, her loyalty to her teammate, the badass that she literally is. But I think she's a very attractive girl, and yeah. And again, she looks like she weighs 105. She's very thin, but she's clearly a strong, strong girl because one, she took down the one girl, but also like she played basketball is no joke. Like
she's
those
a
girls are
black belt.
running back and forth for an hour
For real. Yeah.
jumping, running. And when you think about like all the shaking that's happening here, like it's not just like, oh, your knees and your hips and your ankles from the jumping. No, there's a consequence. Every time a woman jumps, there is a consequence. And I don't care how small your boobs are, it doesn't feel good when that happens.
Yeah.
Nobody in the WNBA is carrying what you carry.
No,
Oh my God.
they could.
Yeah, I think she's very pretty. She does like TikToks where she has on like sometimes she shows up in like fabulous like runway ready clothes to the games. I actually love the way she dresses too. If I wish I had the nerve to wear some of the things that she wears, but I think she's a real again, like a real she seems like a really cool girl. I don't know. Maybe she's an absolute jerk. Maybe she's a total bitch just because she's so fierce on the court. Like I don't know, but she doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like she's able to, like, be fierce in the correct setting too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you said, she's not being petty and, like, going after she's like, "No, my moment will come,"
She sat back and waited through 2.5 quarters. She sat back and waited
because
for her chance.
you are kind of like, you can be so petty. You're like the embodiment of that meme that's like, you don't have to go out of your way to be petty. It's not, it's right on my way. It's not out of my way. Oh,
Yeah, that's the kind of petty I am.
yeah.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm absolutely loving. I hope that this continues and I hope that it continues to grow. The other person I want to say that I love is Kelsey Whitmore, who is playing in
Yes.
Major League Baseball. She's a pitcher, also plays outfield. She is, and again, from what she puts out and what people put out about her, she is the real deal. And she's been really honest. Like she posted a thing and she was like, I almost forgot what I was playing for. And then there was a kid that was like, oh my gosh. And, she's like, this is why,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
She's
another,
very cool.
I know. So I just love seeing women, like seeing her be able
Uh-huh.
to do that.
Yeah, it's not an athlete. I could never. What any of these women do, I could never. But I love watching women break barriers. And I mean, that being said, I love watching anybody break a barrier. But as a female, and I have hit cement ceilings in my career and my personal life, different times, different things. I cannot get enough of what is happening right now with women like Kelsey Whitmore and Ilona Maher and Caitlin Clark. I cannot get enough of it. This is literally centuries overdue. This
Real.
should have been happening all along. The bullshit that women couldn't play for because we're the softer sex or whatever is absolute bullshit. And don't forget ever, all of these women play whether they are on their periods or not. And don't forget that when we put a pain stimulator on a man and we crank it up to what we feel for menstrual cramps, they cry like babies, and women play fucking basketball. So I just like what women are up against. It for me, this is an exciting moment that has taken too long to get here. And I just like I can't stop talking about it. I don't care and I don't care. I can't stop talking about it. I'm so excited for it. I think this is so long overdue. Again, going back to I've said before, like in my family, my son is a swimmer or was a swimmer, like Katie Ledecky. Like I can remember when Katie Ledecky was first coming into like the national scene, and there were times that my son he swam some long distance. She's a long distance swimmer, if you don't know. And she like most of the world records are like Katie Ledecky has number one, two, three, four. Like she has multiple spots on the world record charts, like for the same record. But when my son was going through a phase where he was really good at long distance swimming, he didn't love it, but he was really good at it. And he was swimming a lot of like 500s and thousands. I would be like, go kill it. Like Katie Ledecky, like go do it. And I remember one time, like one of the moms was like, why Katie Ledecky? And I'm like, because nobody's better at long distance swimming than Katie Ledecky. Nobody. There's no man that was as good as Katie Ledecky or today. There's no man. So and the mom was like, I mean, I just wouldn't tell my it was a boy mom. She was like, I just wouldn't compare my son to a woman. And I was like, that's on you. I will compare my son to a woman all day, every day, especially a beast like Katie Ledecky. So like for me, maybe I don't know that that's where it started, but for me, like I've been watching women in sports like my whole life. I have always been a sports fan. Most of my life I've been a sports fan in some capacity. Never was I an athlete, like literally never. But it's been exciting to watch the women break those boundaries and break the mold as they should
Yes.
have had access to a century ago or more. Like they never should have not been allowed to do this. but I'm excited to watch it happening.
I
I'm
love
super excited. Like, it energizes me.
Yeah. I think it is so important and to just, like why would some mom even care that you're saying be like, like, oh, I wouldn't tell my son
Yeah,
to be like a girl. Why? Like, I mean, I love that women are breaking into sports and everything else. I love that Harry Styles wears stuff that
yeah,
people are like, is that a girl's outfit? I think it is, and he is fucking
yeah,
looking good. I mean, I
yeah.
love all of that.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so long overdue. It does make so proud. It makes both of us so proud.
Yeah, it's really exciting to watch. As women, I mean, we're not that old. And there were definite like, we didn't know any females that grew up or that aspired to grow up to be a professional female athlete because that wasn't a thing when we were growing up, and
No,
we're not that old.
I mean, literally, like, I remember when I was in grade school and I was always tall. So people, oh, you play basketball, and, people were like, you should, get a college scholarship or whatever. And so, like, I could work really hard to pay for college. But I mean, no one was like, oh, you could be a professional basketball player.
No.
I
No,
mean,
that
and
was the end of the road was college.
yeah, I mean, because from the
Mhm.
time I was like in kindergarten or whatever, people were like, oh, do you play basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so now that that is an option, let's all support it.
I know. I think it's and that's why, like, I work really hard, and as a matter of fact, my son and I were talking recently because we went to a Phoenix Suns game not very long ago, and we had a great time. Like, my son is a big basketball fan, and we had a really good time at the game, but it's so expensive. It's, like, prohibitively expensive. Like, I had such a good time and I'm not even a basketball fan, but I had such a good time that I was like, "Man, I wish we could do this, like, every month or something." Like, I don't want season tickets, but
Right.
I would love to go, like, 5 or 6 or 7 times in a season or something, but it's just the NBA is seriously prohibitively expensive, and, I mean, it was $40 for parking down there. But I was like, "Hey, like, there's a WNBA team in town, and the tickets are much more affordable," and my son was instantly like, "Yes, let's go to some WNBA games." Like, he was instantly in, and I love that about him, but for the way that our conversations went all the years that the kids were growing up, appreciate athleticism. Like, I
Yeah.
appreciate athleticism, and it's okay if that it actually it's really exciting if it comes from a female body because the female body bleeds every month. Like,
Yeah.
and it hurts when that happens. So, my son was super into it, and when I used to tell him, like he'd be like, "Mom, I don't wanna swim this 1,000 free, this 1,000 free, like, I don't wanna do it." And I'd be like, "Do you think Katie Ledecky looks at her coach and is like, 'I don't wanna swim this 1,000 free?'" And he's like, "No." And then he'd go get his goggles, and he'd go get in the water. And so when this mom was like and this mom I mean, I knew this mom a little bit. She had 2 sons that swam with my son, and they did have more of a, I don't wanna call it toxic masculinity, but they had, like, their attitude toward masculinity was different than mine. And I mean, that mom never would have said to her sons, like, go kill it like Katie Ledecky. And I was like, go kill it like Katie Ledecky.
Yeah.
Now, when he was doing a 200 IM, which was one of Michael Phelps's, I'd be like, go kill it like Michael Phelps. It went both ways, but
Right.
it was all about just, yeah, my son was never offended when I told him to be like a female athlete. He thought the female athletes were as cool as the male athletes. Like, that's how we did it. There just weren't very many female athletes. There still aren't enough, but there weren't very many even 10 years ago when my son was doing that.
No. One of the things I love in oncology is I have a badge thing. Um, that breast cancer has taken Fight Like a Girl and like changed it from like an insult to like an empowering thing. Fight like a girl.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
love that.
Lucy Whitmore has several things on her like Instagram and TikTok and stuff that are like throw like a girl because she's a pitcher and she throws fireballs. Like, it's crazy when you watch her. And
He could throw 90 mile an hour.
yeah,
Like, and she also plays like center field, which is a different kind of throwing, but still incredibly
Yes.
hard. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's got a lot of like throw like a girl stuff on
yeah,
hers, and I love it. I think we should all be throwing like
I
girls.
know.
I don't that should never have been an insult anyway, and certainly in today's world of, you know, softball and rugby and football and basketball and all the things that women are doing, like there's a lot of women that throw really freaking good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I do throw like a girl. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, I am a girl, so I should throw like a girl. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I think on that note, oh, the dog is making weird noises. I don't know if the mic picked it up.
No. No, I'm shocked that the dog I'm sitting for has sat the entire she's just curled up in a little ball. I thought she'd come sit with me. Nope.
Yeah. Safira was, because I'm still in my office. I just, I changed the backdrop, but she was napping in the little bed, and then she got up and walked toward the door and did like three like hacks in her like deep throat hacks in a row, and I'm just like, really, like during the podcast? It's so embarrassing.
She's such a
Can't take her
lady.
anywhere.
I know.
Okay, well, anyway.
Yeah,
Hey,
so
I do think that we should just let people know that we're probably not going to have another episode next Wednesday. We are probably moving to an every other week episode. So stay, every other Wednesday. It'll still be Wednesday at midnight like it always has been, but yeah, I just,
yeah.
it's not there's not going to be one next week as it turns out.
Yeah, so we'll go to every other week, so we will see you in 2 weeks. Keep commenting. We're absolutely loving all the comments and stuff on, the podcast and on TikToks
Mhm.
and everything else. Alright.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Talk
Talk
to
to
you
you
later.
later. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.